Call to order the April regular scheduled city meeting. If everyone will please rise, we're going to have the invitation tonight by Aaron and Amanda Carab from Restoring Hope Church, and if you'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Hi, we're Aaron and Amanda. We're so thankful to be here. Miss Sherry asked us to come, and before we open this meeting, just want to set our hearts. Number one, the Council of Counselors is the only one who can give true wisdom, and even though he brings it through the heart of men and women, which we're so thankful for, I feel like in the counsel of the Lord, there's an abundance of safety. And so when we come before him boldly, making our requests known, there is wisdom that comes from a multitude of counselors. And so we just ask for the precious Holy Spirit to invade this room. Aaron and I have been a part of this city for 4 years now. And so we're grateful to be here, coming all the way from the big city of Hendersonville. It's quite a change. But we are grateful to be here and to just know that there really is counsel, wisdom, clarity that comes through the heart of those who would say, let's invite the Holy Spirit in to this meeting today.
Yeah, and we're from Kentucky, but don't go that we bleed blue. But we will go to Tennessee. And I honestly enjoy, I just like to say that I enjoy playing to the basketball games. I really enjoy that. It's been fun. My kids kind of plugging in. You know, my wife and I travel a lot as well, but we love this community. I grew up in Kentucky, in a small town, and just love getting away and just being, just to walk out. Honestly, to pull out on the road, not worry about traffic, but also just to look up into the stars and just admire the beauty of the Lord. I love that. I love those quiet moments in the Lord. So I just ask the, can we pray? Is that all right? I just ask the Lord to bless this room. God, I thank you that, Lord, you said when we call upon you that you would show us great and mighty things that we do not know. Lord, we're always students learning. And so, Lord, I just ask right now, Father, that you would open our ears to hear. God, as we bring this meeting, Lord, forth, I just pray that there would be clarity. God, that you would bring divine clarity, God, and all things. Lord, you said in Matthew 21:22 that in all things, whatever we ask in prayer, believing is that we shall receive. And I pray blessings over this city. I pray blessings over every family that's represented in this city. God, let your Spirit guide us and lead us and direct us. Each and every person, Father. We just ask for unity, Father, because we know, Father, that that's where you command the blessings, and we want your blessings in our city. We want your blessings in every church that's represented here. God, we want your blessings represented in every activity, and your hand, God, to be upon us. So I just pray that you would be upon each and every leadership. God, I pray that you would strengthen them. God, even that you would give us the spirit of humility. God, that we would serve in humility, and God, that in our character, God, we would walk in reflection of your integrity. And God, will never fail to give you the praise for what you did for us 2,000 years ago. God, that you bled for us, that you died for us, that you were buried. But God, we thank you for the assurance and the power of the resurrection. And God, that one day we have a hope beyond this place. We thank you for the hope of salvation. Lord, I pray for every need represented in this room. And God, as we get into this meeting, I pray that you would open our ears to hear and open our spirits to receive in Jesus' name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight we have had our annual financial report review for the year ending June 30th, 2025, and it has been audited by John R. Poole, a CPA, and he is here to present his findings
Thank you very much. Won't be much in the way of finance, but I know it's almost budget time, and I just thought Holly thought it'd be a good idea to kind of go over numbers. I see that you guys have a little black booklet. Those audits. Let me have you turn to page 16, and I promise I won't talk a lot about numbers tonight. But what I do want to kind of talk to the board about is when we talk about that the city has a state-required annual audit every year, exactly what that means. As auditors, we're really trying to do three things. One, make sure that we provide the state in their oversight capacity the financial information that they require. The truth of the matter is, the finances of CrossClean are in such good shape, they probably don't spend a whole lot of time reviewing the finances of CrossClean. We'll talk about that in here in a minute. But based on, and certainly the state reviews those every year, and based on the feedback, we get letters from them about their review. There hasn't been anything significant in those letters, and once again, that's a compliment to all and educated people. So that's the first thing. The second thing is officers we do. We're looking to see that the city is getting the money that it should be getting. Whether those are the monthly checks from the county for sales tax, whether that's the monthly amount from the state for the sales tax, gasoline taxes, various taxes that the state collects and send to us. Let's make sure that the city has significant amounts of CD, making sure that those CD payments are the correct amount, those kind of things. From police fines and miscellaneous fees, just looking to make sure that we feel as auditors that we're getting the money that we should be collecting. And then once we receive those monies, making sure that we're handling those monies in accordance with the city policy, state guidelines, with their grant involved on the grant guidelines. And very glad to be able to report, we certainly find that to be the case. We didn't see any exceptions to the way that the monies were being handled, being deposited, and accounting for. So we feel very confident that the money we should be receiving, that we are receiving. And then the third thing, which is probably most important to this board, and certainly to the citizens, is looking at the money that this board authorizes department heads to spend through the budget process. As auditors, we're going to look to make sure that, first of all, money is being spent on city business. I know it's a simple statement, but it is so important. We've obviously heard good news, and those things sometimes don't happen. And then look to make sure that the city's following its purchasing guidelines, bidding when required, like you said, when we have grants, making sure we're following the grant agreements and, of course, our bidding procedures. And once again, we're so glad to report that we just didn't see anything in the way the city was spending its money that we feel like we need to report these to you. That'll be the most important thing to say. So let me quickly run through the numbers, and I'll remind this board, this is for the year ending June 30, 25. It's almost budget time. So this board is very aware that the state requires us to keep our money in what we call funds. Funds is what we call a set of books. It's the necessary dollars. And the city has three of them. They're on that page 16. General fund is the big one. That's where the big monies come in. Sales tax, state sales tax, county, those things. The police department has a small adult fund where they have to keep drug-related activities, drug fines, those kind of things. And then the fire department has kind of its special on monies also. And you'll see there on page 16, starting at the top, revenues at the top, these amounts are broken down on 20, so starting on page 18. But revenues at the top, expenses there in the middle. You'll see almost in the middle of the page, there is a line that says excess efficiency of revenues over expenditures. Fancy way of saying profit or loss surplus. And during the year, beginning in 25, we actually spent $56,000 more than we took in the general fund. But there's a huge spike there. You guys will go up just a little bit. I'm sorry the public doesn't have that. There's a category called capital outlay. Those are kind of one-time big purchases. And you'll see the fire department, $140,000 for the police. They also spent some of the fire department money. But the reason that we spent more than we took in is because we bought a significant amount of equipment and make some significant improvements in our streets that you don't necessarily do every year. And certainly without those expenditures, people have shown a surplus. If you go over to the drug fund, kind of the same thing, just really some interesting, some no big activity. And then the fire department with their funds that they primarily get from the county. Once again, if you go down there, that same line, they had a deficit of $300,000. They also borrowed some money, the general fund also gave us some money, but once again, that $300,000 deficit is because they purchased $300,000 worth of equipment. Because we're not gonna be doing that every year, and as I said, once again, the fund, would have been basically broke even, and that's kind of what we all hoped for. So, from a financial standpoint, in 2025, just significant investment in equipment, in some of your infrastructure to make this growing community go better. I'm gonna go one more set of numbers, and then I will kind of sit down. Go back up to 2 pages. That page 16 kind of shows you money that came in and out during the year. Page 14 is going to kind of show all the balance sheet is really what the city owns and what it owes. And really just want to point out, once again, it's got those 3 columns that, if you look at the general fund, those top 2 lines, cash, your cash equivalents, checking and savings accounts, and CD. So put those numbers together, 160 in the checking account, $1 million in the CD, that's $1.1 million. That's basically 75% of your annual budget. You all hear those financial people talk about you need to have 6 months worth of savings, reserves in your account. You guys have 9. So, as I mentioned before, because your city is in such good financial shape, you don't get a lot of oversight, really from this thing. So, that's the report. This report is on the comptroller's website. My name and number is on page 1 of that, report. So, needless to say, if you remember this board, or certainly a citizen, look at that report, has a question, they certainly, can email me or call me, at that number. We'll be glad to try to answer. Mayor, I don't know if it's appropriate to ask if there are any questions. I know you guys are receiving this here frequently, but if there are any questions, I'd be glad to try to entertain those.
Does anybody at this table have any questions anymore?
Thank you for letting me work.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for all your hard work. Has everybody had a chance to read over the minutes from our March the 16th regular meeting? If so, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from March 16th.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Can I get a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, the financials, we have March of 26, we had the general fund checking at $280,967. Our fire fund was $75,993. We still have the playground CD, the general CD, and the roads. We have $13,000 in the playground general fund, $938,000, and our roads $100,000. Does anybody have any questions about financials? I know Holly has a few things on our financials to point out to us.
No, well, it's in the budget.
Okay.
I did highlight the areas, that it is, the budget and, amendment includes
Okay.
on the financial, that's how
Does anybody have any questions for Holly on that?
I think it'd be a good idea, take some of that money out of the general fund, I'll say that here too.
So, yeah, so we heard back from the LGIP, the state local government investment pool yesterday. They have our account set up, and I think the current rate's about 3.6%. So we can move, that was the whole intent of setting that up with the state. So we can move some of our excess money that's just sitting there, that we have easy access to it, we can move it over in there and draw more interest. We're drawing hardly any interest at all at the bank. So that's another kind of savings account that we can transfer it by wire transfer and get it very quickly, whereas the CDs are tied up for a year. And you're all penalized, some are 5 years, but yeah. But I still check on the rates for the CDs at the bank, and they weren't anywhere close to what the local government investment is paying. So we'll be transferring some of that money in the next couple of days. What's that?
How much?
I don't know, I was gonna talk to Jeff about it, but if you guys wanna make a recommendation,
We got $281,000 in there.
I paid bills today, so there's probably not that in there right now. So, I think it's what, it maybe a little under 200. So, then I can at least move 100,000 or. What's your suggestion, Jeff?
Well, we need to talk about one other thing on the, on here first, I guess, and see which direction we're gonna go. And then if we can circle back to that, if that's okay.
Okay, so let's, does anybody else have any questions about the financials, and we'll go ahead and approve the financials before anything further if we can.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
All right, so approved. Okay, so fire department made 89 calls, 39 were inside the city and 45 were outside the city, and we had 5 mutual aids this month. The police department had 46 calls, 186 calls went through Robertson County Dispatch, and 8 calls were answered by Robertson County Sheriff's Office. The building department parts and inspections, we had 0 permits, 3 inspections, and no consultations. Daniel, you have anything for us on building?
I plan to complete next month with, building permit update recommendation.
Okay. All right,
I think that's about that.
thank you. Stan, can you give us a park update?
Is that not, if I told you, tell me already, the artificial turf is down for the back gate, and that's been dropped, it's going to use those back cages, the Wiki help use just PDX and lift, finish a line to do the drainage ditch out of the field to, that's all done, covered back up and complete. The concrete around the quad and all was fresh washed and it's all been cleaned up. The septic area that Tommy had fixed last year, I had a skid loader come in, we were able to clean all that up with the, delivered 3 tons of rock, all that was spread out and the back, leveled and looking good there. Brothers Keepers tournament starts tomorrow, Saturday, and goes Saturday and Sunday, all day. I think they have about 25 teams or so that's going to be playing in. So it's going to be a huge crowd down there. Then in the park, I'll see what's bluegrass from the 15th or 16th. And high school graduation is the 15th, so that period will be 34th and 15th. And then May 9th, I think we'll come back, do the park, and then we'll see kind of walk through and get ready for later for 4th of July celebration.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, if you would bring it up.
You got something?
Also on the park, over in the old park, we talked about going in there and logging in a few years ago. Doug Spain come up and said something about it before the ice storm broke all the tops out of the trees, that it was going to want to log it. It's probably a good time. About the fall or something, he's saying he might get to it if we wanted to. And, that we probably need to decide if we wanted to do it by so much or by the percentage of the load.
I think we would have to get
We have to bid it out too also. And what we had talked about is maybe taking that money and come off that and fix a pond at one time and fix a bridge going over the creek back to it. And maybe do some work on that one barn back there with that money, but I'm just gonna run that by y'all also.
Thank you.
It did break a lot of the top side of the big poplars. Some of them's 90 to 120 foot tall, and they're big trees, and they're going to start going the other way and be real bad.
Okay. All right, so our public comments, we got Juanita True that wants to talk about the food truck ordinance that we're going to talk about in our new business. Juanita, if you'll come up. Oh, sorry. Wait, that's my bad. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Juanita.
Okay,
My son Marshall has a weak part, he thinks, he lives in Fayetteville. That was where, but he wanted to carry on the family tradition of church barbecues and start around here with people who are just excited and just thrilled that to carry on the tradition. He sent Marlene a text and he said, he would be able to attend the meeting tonight, where y'all will be discussing the ordinance for food trucks. I thought I would discuss my feelings for the meeting to see if the price of the ordinance could be rearranged. It's been great this last year, being able to share the experience of my parents got to do for 4 years of food barbecues and being able to provide food and joy to the people over this last year across the plains. This ordinance gets passed at $60 a day for a setup fee. I don't believe that I will be able to afford to set up from across the plains like I have been. I don't believe that I should get this set up for free, and I understand that I might need to pay something, but I would strongly like to urge the commissioners in the city to look at other cities around them where they offer a yearly fee and not a daily setup fee. I would love to be able to continue to set up and provide a service across the plains and also give back to the community once I'm able to in my business journey. I've grown up in Cross Plains and that's deep love for the city and community and would love to help each Robinson in the future. I just hope that things can be looked at to help not only me but other food vendors be able to afford and set up in the city if that's what the city wants. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day. And it's just, I know that whenever I had True Barbecue, I had someone come in and tell me that they did your ministry to this town. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, you help people, you do for people, you're there for people. And that's just like the people come up to the food truck, they're like so excited, and they just like, one is to hug them, and one is to, to keep coming, when he's coming back. And so we just like to be able to continue this is a family tradition that we had, and unfortunately he's in Fayetteville, but he wants to provide up here, it's going to be, it's his hometown. So,
Thank you very much. Okay, we will have a discussion on that when we get to it down in our new business. Old business, Tommy ISO update.
It's done.
We are so proud of that. It's a praise report. And so we won't have any information from that for 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months, and he said it did make a big improvement of what we have done, so we were still falling short of some of the manpower, but it was a whole lot better. We still averaged what he wanted, all except for, I think, 1 call out of 7, so.
I believe you deserve a round of applause for all your hard work on that.
But we was told in a meeting with MTS that Fireman County, the full-time candidate won. If they was here working, they did, but if they're not at the station, they counted as a third, just like a part-time. And that was why it dropped us down. We've been averaging 7 to 8 people. And on one fire, we had 5. That's all we had. So. But training stuff, he pulled some of the training stuff out because like 64 hours that each fireman had to have for the fire one. That's a one-time deal. They had it one time. That's all they had to have that many hours, so he took that out. And then anything it was coming out like that had to come out. He said he didn't see no problem with getting back what we had, and I said, well, it's almost 6. And he's 5. And he said, well, it's hard to get a 5, but I showed him the old papers, and I said, well, it's almost 5 for your last grade. If we'd have had our people then. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, and we'll be looking forward to the final on that. All right, Deb, can you give us an update on the Village Green?
Sure. So a couple of meetings ago, we discussed the property that Mr. Bradley has on the backside of Village Green. The city owns the property on the Village Green side. And it was in hopes, I think, when the property was purchased, of cutting a road through there, taking it over to Dogwood Lane, and eliminating, the entry and exit point right there on the hill and curve at Village Green. So, my last marching orders when I left here was to find out whether we could put a road there because of the gas lines. And I've worked with the gas company, got the depth check on the 3 gas lines that are there. And one was 4 feet, one was 3.5 feet, and the other was 310. The amount that we need there is 5 foot. The guy that another Jeff that I'm working with, his gas company, he felt that the time we match the grade with the road right there, that we'll have more than enough depth for the road to go over the gas line. I've been talking with Mr. Bradley about his property. He's divided that property off on the backside into several lots that he plans to sell as commercial lots. And we have 2 options. We can take and purchase lot number 2, which is, there's the second lot coming off of Highway 25, and we can purchase that for $300,000 from him. That's a special price to us, or we can purchase 50 feet for the road at $150,000. But he needs to know this answer pretty quickly as to what we're going to do, because he's moving on. He's got some fees to pay in to get the land ready for sale, and so we need to decide pretty quickly what we want to do. Otherwise, he's going to move on without it.
What is lot size, too?
It is almost 1.5 acres. So lot 1 and lot 2, so the one up that's right there at Highway 25, that is 1.5 acre lot that he has a buyer for significantly more than what he's offering us lot 2 for. But he's willing to do it either way. He just asked that if we only want the 50 foot of, or just the roadway, that we hold to the south side of our lot and what we go on to, so he can take and rearrange his surveying to get that down to that 50 feet.
What do you think the cost of that road would be?
I don't know for Tommy might want to weigh in on that a little bit. He's asking for the cost of the road.
I'd probably say without blacktop, I'm gonna say probably 50 to 70,000.
I did have a Zoom with GNRC and CDOT, and there are a couple of grants out there that they are willing to help with us to apply for. It will not apply, it will not help with purchase of land, but it will help with some of the building of the road. They did agree that it's a safety issue.
We also talked with Webb one time about the safety part of it, and he said they wouldn't do any of the road work or anything, but they would blacktop. If we could go in front of the safety, for Tennessee Department of Safety, and there's money there to do the blacktopping on that, but they wouldn't do any gravel work or anything else, it'd just be blacktop.
Any thoughts? Questions? How quickly could GNRC help with the grant? Well, that's the thing, the grants, they have a deadline, like always, and there's not one, it'd probably be 3 to 6 months before money gets fixed.
There's no other utilities with that be surprised if we move for this road.
I don't think so, nothing that we couldn't go over.
Because I mean, moving the light poles is very expensive, and
Right.
so when you connect to Dogwood Lane, you just see flatten that all the way out. It's really fast.
Yes, I guess it all depends on what he would be doing for his commercial access there in and out.
One end of it is wider, it gets more narrow, so down the
Yeah,
road.
when you get back to the residential part, I mean, it is much narrower.
So if you kind of come in at a more of an angle, it gets a wider part of the road.
You can get your response.
Just let y'all know that like a severe gun storm is supposed to be about 45 minutes, I think that is, but I'm just letting you know. Safety wise, there's no tornado, it's not stop now, there's no tornado in it, so, should be good.
I mean, if you needed more time to think about it, I mean, we would have to do a special call meeting because we would need to get back with him pretty quickly on this.
Hey, Barry, you were here during some of that. Do you want to kind of weigh in on?
Exactly. It's always been an issue right there. We've done the studies. I think it was time 12 months prior to buying that lot, trying to alleviate that issue out there. There was 43 accidents out there, no fatalities. So, anybody that drives through there, you know, come over that rise right there, they expecting somebody to come out. If you're in there and you're coming out, you decide to come out of there, you've got to come on. So I've known of several accidents. We saw the need for that. We paid a little bit too much for that property. Talked to Jeff Bradley. Thought that we had it all. So he used that number that we paid for that other piece of property. And bottom line here is we've got some money. Shame on us if we do not try to make a difference. Somebody gets killed out there, it's not going to be our fault. It's not have been able to stop that. Talking about buying a strip of land and going to what we've already got. There's a whole deal after it's all said and done would be another $350,000. Hope I never have to get a phone call and say we had a calendar out there. We said ends up on the lead on this. They hope it's that kind of money. I would say it's 50 feet. Just enough to whatever, put the road through there. If the road had a little slight turn or something, close that entrance out there. I'm saying another issue. I mean, you think about it. You're on the interstate. You've never been through Cross Plains, but you're coming out of the north, Louisville, Cincinnati, and your GPS is going to get off Cross Plains, so through Springfield, Cheatham County, and get you back on 40 down here, coming into Dixon. You're used to running 70, 75, 80 miles an hour. You roll off there within a mile and a half, and you pop over that hill. You've never been through there. People that live around here were all cautious. But, I don't know, it's just weighed on me. I'm cringe every time I think about a bad accident out there. They sit here sitting on our hands and they could have been trying to make it. I'll say that. But I just think people do.
Just for you guys to think about it as well, when I had GRC on the road and they pulled it up and see.
don't know the road, I don't know the name of the little horseshoe road that's on the other side of 25.
Rainwater,
Right, is it Rainwater Lane or something?
it's not too strict.
Well, they have it down as a street,
Then you go take the maps, it's not.
but their suggestion was to make sure that that hits someone to 25 on that side, because it's the same danger as it was going into Village Green, just have it coming out the other end.
We have a copy of the plat that Mr. Bradley has submitted to the planning, committee. So, I mean, we need to take just a minute or two break to, if you all needed to see that, to go get it. But I don't know if you can see it or not.
I'm pretty familiar with that up there, so, okay.
It has the lot lines drawn on it of what the 5 commercial lots would be.
My thought was we only need it, I don't think we need it, I don't think an acre and a half, so are you looking for a motion to move forward with that? To give Jeff the ability to move forward. I'll make that motion to move forward with that. With the purchasing the CPC, yeah, at $150K.
Second the motion.
Barry,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Barry, Vicky,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Board of Health, thank
Okay, new business, we have ordinance 2606, and it's to amend ordinance 2503, the 2025-26 fiscal year budget to reflect the annual revenue and expenses related to the Bluegrass Festival, Kilgore Park, and street maintenance. Polly, you want to go over all of that? Or Jeff can?
I'll take it.
Or Jeff can?
So the city of Cross Plains received $5,000 off the American PPP grant. It was sent to the city for expenses of the Bluegrass Festival. We were going to issue that out of our funds. We have a couple of options with it, but what I'm going to ask you to consider is that we make a budget amendment to pay that out and not turn it back. So, but for any expenditure, we would need to make a budget amendment to be able to push that out to the Bluegrass Festival.
So am I hearing you say we're gonna take the $5,000 in, or we're gonna cut a check for $5,000 back to them?
Not exactly. So
Oh,
to clear that up, we've already received the $5,000. It hit our bank account, and it is sitting there. We can't issue it directly to the Bluegrass Festival because they are not complete with their 501c3. So what we would be doing in 2 to 3 checks is paying their expense for their vendors themselves. So we're paying it to the actual entity that's coming for the Bluegrass Festival as opposed to giving it to their organization.
So we're repaying their invoices, right?
Yes,
That's what you're saying.
it's to equal the $5,000. I look at this as a one-time allowance to do this for them. And from going forward, I think they're working on their 501c3, and so they will be able to do it themselves from here going forward. But that,
Their liability insurance. I'm sure they're working on that.
yes, they are working on that, right?
Well, I'm a little familiar with the grant because of my connection with the Heritage Commission and everything.
Right.
Barry, are you the one that did this
So are you gonna keep up with the contract and do the follow-up on the backside?
Yeah, unlike the
That has to
Heritage
be
Commission,
submitted?
there's only 4 line items that we have to pay, so it's not nearly as complex.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're done with that, will you give a copy, because ours has to be kept for 5 years, and I'm sure the same thing applies to your grant as well. And give us a copy, so we have a copy here.
I do have a copy of what they submitted already, and including their budget.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, the other items for parking.
Right, and, so, so on the budget amendment, what I did, is, so I included the $5,000 as grant proceeds on the revenue, and then on the expense side, I created a line called Bluegrass Festival 250. So, and that's for the expense. So it's showing coming in and going out, so it's not gonna really affect the budget at all. So, and then as I was going through the financials, I noticed there were a couple of expenses related in the park, to the park, that were gonna be over budget. We were over budget in the current audit that Mr. Poole just gave us, and it was an oversight on my part at the end of last year. That would be happening again, if we don't go ahead and fix these. While we were doing an amendment, I felt it was necessary to go ahead and get these out of the way. For the utilities in the park, we've already spent $15,436 as of March 31st. We only budgeted $15,000. So, I recommend that we increase that budget by, $5,000, and make it $20,000. We should be covered with that. Under park supplies, including the janitorial services, or the, products, toilet paper, paper towels, any other supplies down there. We've already spent $2,500. We've budgeted $2,500, and I just ordered a boatload of toilet paper, paper towels, trash bags, and everything that's gotta go down there also. So I know we're gonna be over budget there, so I'd like to amend that by $2,500 and make it an even $5,000. We probably won't spend that much, but that'll cover it. And then under park maintenance, we budgeted $10,000, we've already spent $15,500. So we under budgeted that, and I recommended that we go up another $10,000 and make that $20,000. And then the only other one is in the street, highways and streets, under, street maintenance. We spent $7,300 there. I didn't budget anything, and that was my fault. It was set up before to include, not only the park maintenance, the street maintenance, but the maintenance salaries, and I moved that around in the new budget last year, and I failed to put something back in that line item. So, and that includes like the rocking, when we do pothole patching, or, any road repairs, and then the equipment maintenance. So, I'm recommending that we, increase that budget, just make it $10,000. So that's what I've, done in this budget amendment. And also, the grant for the Bluegrass Festival. The Bluegrass Festival is May 15th and 16th, I believe. We will not meet again, before the Bluegrass Festival. So it would be my recommendation that we call a special call meeting. We could do it the Thursday before the Friday, so we can approve this budget amendment, so we can have the checks ready for the, I believe it's the entertainment that we're gonna be paying. That would be my recommendation. Just go ahead, I need to advertise the public hearing, which will be in the Robertson County Connection. We have to have at least 10 days prior to the meeting. So, if you guys are on board with doing that.
So that would be May the 14th?
Yes. Well, we can do it any day in May, as long as I have that 10 days to get the ad in the paper.
Is May the 14th the planning and zoning? It would be. It would be planning and zoning.
We're here at the Florida Board. First Thursday.
Is that gonna be on Sunday? You're talking about the 7th, the 2nd?
So, well, first off, we have to approve the first reading. It is, I think it was a total of 32. I guess 27.5 plus the 5,000. Yeah, 32.5 is the total. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be.
So, just a question, because I'd like to know, how much is the park light a month? Each of us.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we have.
Yeah, it's especially high, yeah. Yeah.
But you feel like he and me can recover.
What I did is I looked at what we paid already year to date, and I just took the 9 months and divided by 12, and then multiplied. So that's how I came up with, and I think we'll be fine.
Any other questions? Okay, I am first off looking for a motion for ordinance 2606. Can I get a second? I'll put that. I'll do a roll call. Okay. Barry? We can vote. Yes. Yes. Okay, so now, it's May the 7th.
Well, she's got enough time for advertising.
I mean, we could do it any day, but we could be, 11, whatever you guys, it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I mean, whatever works for y'all. You can do the 7th, because we don't have the 10
It's
days.
Monday the 11th, a good day for the second reading on the budget amendment. What time? 6:30. Is that good with you, both?
It can, I mean, or earlier, but I do need to know the name.
Very good. Okay, so we'll have a second reading public hearing called, special call meeting on May the 11th at 6:30. Okay, so now we have, ordinance 2607, it's the mobile food truck ordinance. And, let me get to that. So, Jeff, do you want to start
Sure.
the discussion on that?
As you all know, I've been working on the municipal code book on a number of things, but, this was something that was already in, that's already in the new draft code book, but because of a number of people that have approached me, sharing concerns about food vehicles in Cross Plains, from everything from the taking business from our current establishment to also losing the revenue since a lot of the food trucks that are coming in are not from the city of Cross Plains. The tax revenue is not coming to the city of Cross Plains. There was a previous permit that was established many years ago, however, it was not enforced, nor was there any sort of form ever that I could find that has ever been set up to do that. So, but the ordinance, the way it was written, it was inadequate. So I have put together and submitted earlier by email this week, and then you have the final draft in front of you of the new ordinance of what I'm proposing. The amount for, so the first 5 pages are going to be the ordinance. The page after that is a vendor permit application that I have made. In the ordinance and also at the bottom of the vendor permit application, there are fees listed for this, but these are just placeholders. I'm going to leave it up to the commission to decide what they want to, if they are going to approve this ordinance, what they want to use as the vendor permit fee. Right now, I have listed $60 per day for an outside food vendor, but if you are in conjunction with an official Cross Plains event, that would be cut in half at 30. Again, these are just placeholders. I'm completely open to changing this to whatever amount that you think it.
Okay, so you say, permit conjunction with an official city event.
So anything, so we would probably need to take and establish, on a yearly basis, whether it be fiscal year or calendar year, what the city is going to take and recognize as an, obviously 4th of July would be because the city pays for the fireworks and some other things. But I mean, I think also whether it's the Bluegrass Festival or it's Trash and Treasures or any of the other events that would go to Christmas parade, these are other things that I would say that were the city is involved with, and these would be official events of the city.
So they would get a discounted rate. They would still have to fill out this form.
That's right.
And pay this fee.
That's right.
To the city.
Right.
But it would be at a lesser rate.
Yes.
For an event.
And it could be the amounts on this. If we're going to approve this ordinance, the amounts on this could be not enough, or this could be too much. I'm open to thoughts on that.
Have you, looked at other cities, if you talk to
I have, and there's no consistency by any city. There are some cities, which had talked about, there are some cities that have an annual permit amount. I Googled it. I had a little piece of paper where I had several written down, but I apologize. I forgot to bring that with me. But according to what I just Googled, is that there's application fees that I usually see that are about 100 for several cities, and then there's a fee for a day or a annual fee. I think it stated on Google a while ago, but I don't know, can't remember for sure, but Google had said it was $250 for the year in the city of Springfield. I think, I remember correctly, Portland had $100 fee for the application, and then another $50 for to do an annual. But I've seen these things from anywhere from $30 to $200.
Well, wouldn't the difference on some of that be made as some of those, all of the cities that you've mentioned have the property tax, and that's where they're getting their funds from. Our finances come in from sales tax.
Right.
So this is the way we.
Any vendor that's coming in, they're paying taxes back to whatever city or county they reside in, not the city of Cross Plains.
And it's not to make it a hardship. We don't want to overcharge by no means, but if you're saying Springfield, I mean, they have a property tax, so that kind of helps cover those costs.
Right.
And we don't have that other money.
I mean, they're also bringing in, a lot more, they have a lot of events, they have food truck rallies and different things as well, so just the number of people that are coming in, I don't think, for those particular events. And that's the reason, on the events that I'm proposing that we make that a lesser amount, because, I don't know that the same people that would be going into the 4th of July, for example, are the same people that are stopping at Tom's Drugs or the Mexican restaurant, but they may be. And because, our local businesses are where, and even if it's a soda up at Circle K, I mean, all these things that your vendors are selling, the taxes are not going back to the city of Cross Plains.
Any other suggestions, ideas on those numbers? Well, I guess I have a question. If it's an quote unquote event, how, well, just for example, the Boulevard Festival, you guys, I'm sure, are invited, big show. So how are they responsible for coming up here and doing this, or
Yes.
Blue Cross responsible for telling?
So there's two different ways. So anybody that's having an event or a food truck, they should also be providing a certificate of insurance should there be a fire, should there be food poisoning, should there be any type of accident. So there's one or two possibilities you could do with that. You could say they need to come in and fill out a permit in regard to the insurance. They would either need to have their own insurance, or they would need to be under the umbrella of whatever event the event was.
I think that right there, that's the whole issue. We want to make sure, get in there, propane or something, catch somebody on fire or something. Make sure they're safe, they're insured. And these babies, I mean, you get them jacked up so high, these small vendors like what they was talking about, they can take that. I mean, gas, diesel, times it is, and trying to get here and get set up. They're way behind the 8 ball, and they're doing it, of course, trying to make some money, but, I think I would drop those fees down to like what you said, $25-30, and the city could realize a little bit. Make sure that one another has their insurance in place. I think I'm not even sure how it goes anymore, but I probably have an umbrella policy that covers almost anything that's going on in the park.
There is a policy, an insurance policy by the city, but we talked to our insurance holder, and they advise us that the event holder still have their own insurance, and they also list the city as additionally insured on their policy.
I think that's good sound rating in that sense. I'd make sure all that's in place with those fees. I've read up on those fees, what they can get somebody where they do it. So, they successful one year, they spread the word. I've seen it down there where weather's related, when we were there on Friday night, playgrounds, nobody was coming. It's raining like it is now. They were backed out there. There's something going on 30-40 miles somewhere else. But correct me if I'm wrong, there was a group coming in from North Carolina dragging a couple of trailers one year. They wasn't 80 people down there.
Well, the events, you understand where they're going to be. No problem with that. And you reduce that for the events. And I see that. That's fine. But if you reduce the owns a food truck into the city, where you gonna park them?
So it would be on the, we're not providing the location unless it's in the park and related to an event.
Right.
So, you know, I know that, that needs to be policed a little bit better because I have seen people pulled up on the side of the road. But I mean, I've got in this ordinance the location of the zoning districts that you can be in. So, and that is, C1, C2, and under special circumstances, R1 and R2.
So we can't have just a line of food trucks right in the middle of town.
Right. And on the application itself that somebody would be dropping off, that is one of the questions is where do you plan to set up? You know, is it in conjunction with an event? What type of shelter or structure will you be using, if any? And I went ahead and made this, even though the ordinance only addresses food vehicles right now, the application in itself, because if it becomes a problem later on, and I plan to address it in the municipal code book, you know, if people are coming in and selling merchandise, this ordinance does not cover that, but it is something that if it's becoming an issue, we need to address that as well, because the same logic applies. If somebody's here and they're selling t-shirts, hats, and other things on the side of the road, or in off the tape lot, or in the park, that may be something that we need to look at as well, in setting a price for that.
Can I ask one of you a question?
Sure.
On a Saturday, Marshall is set up in town. How many pounds of barbecue would you say he sold in a day's time? Just out of curiosity.
He's been told on the reasons. I mean, not, you know, maybe necessarily just right now we never want that really to come up later, but I mean,
Sure.
he could work, you know, to me, 100, you know, I mean, we worked out every time, you know.
But that's in one day, maybe 200 pounds of barbecue in a day, or in 2 days, so 100 a day, you might say.
I'm not picking on you, Barry. I promise. I guess I'm thinking about like the logistics of all of it, even, you know, so with Barry, take this form to whoever he's asked, like, I guess you'll have to do that in advance, because you gotta have the certificate of the health rating, the certificate of insurance and all that, so it would kind of be the Blue Ridge Festival responsibility.
Yes, if they're inviting 5 vendors to their event, then it's the fine is going to go to, because there's an enforcement on it. You get a warning. The second time it's double of what the permit fee was, and then after that it gets more expensive. Of course, then they are told to stop selling at that point. But yes, it would be on the event person to make sure that they got this filled out. We would need a certificate of insurance from the vendor or some assurance from the event holder that they're putting them on their insurance.
But this could be emailed to them as well, so that they can do it in advance, so you have all their right things. Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think because.
And this is not something unusual to Cross Plains. I mean, this is something that takes place in a lot of places. So that in the enforcement in this would be looking at the direction of these two. So your code enforcement and your police department would have the authority over this to issue the warnings and the citations.
Can I say,
Sure.
if this is something that the city is passing an ordinance on
Shouldn't the food truck vendors have to come to the city to get their permits and provide the city with their general liability policies? And it not be over the person that planned the event and get the applications and pass out? If this is city ordinance, the
I can
vendors,
answer your question just real quick. That's their responsibility, but it's your responsibility because you invited them, it falls back on you.
to make
So
sure
you
they're
need to keep a
insured.
copy
Right.
of their certificate of
I agree
liability
with that.
with you, just like a subcontractor. It's your responsibility to keep.
Would that also apply to drink trucks or ice cream trucks?
It would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know this is new to us. I say we cut those charges in half, say $30 a day and $15.
I'll let you know that your current amount that has been on the books for many years was 25.
Okay. So, I agree. We can go back and revisit it. I mean, how many vendor trucks are we talking about in a year's time?
Hard to say.
So,
It's all gonna go up.
yeah, so I say let's $25, $30 and start there, and then if we need to revisit this every year,
So are you saying one fee, no,
no, I'm saying $25 a day. If we wanna throw an annual fee in there, or say $100 for an annual fee, I'm just throwing numbers out.
yes, sir.
So,
With 60 and the 30, you don't have an application fee per day.
That's correct, no application.
That's just so much simpler to everybody, just the 60 and the 30, because that $30 barely covers a third of what they're selling if they pay retail tax, and they're paying it to another city. You know, if they do it $2,000 a day, you know, if we got 2 to 3%, that's $50. You know. So they save money, you know, really, versus if they're doing retail money.
yeah. That's just my recommendation, to do what you guys think.
Sherry, everybody else is in there.
Well, it sounds like we're all interested in maybe cutting the fee a little bit. There's gonna have to be a fee because the city itself is taking a loss.
Right. You're not only not getting that tax revenue, but any other businesses that it's taking away from, you're losing that
And
tax
it
revenue.
affects them as well.
Well, we've got a second reading, and we can make changes up to the second reading, correct?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve it as it's written.
Would the second reading on this be the same day as the amendment? Or is it,
So we can have we will have this as a regular.
As a regular
public hearing.
but we have up until then to change the date. This just gives us a starting point.
That'll at least give us time to
We can research, if we go
think about it,
research and see what we can find.
so I'll second the motion.
Okay, give us,
Harris,
Yes.
Jimbo,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
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 Okay, the last thing we have tonight is an agreement with BTA Consulting to perform a compensation study for the city of Cross Plains. And it's in here, and Jeff, you wanna go
Sure.
over that with us?
So one of the things that was discussed early on when I took this position was having a salary study done for the city. I looked into that, worked with MTS. They provided a list of vendors. Burris and Associates, BTA is Burris. They are one of the well-known, folks that, and so several of them I called that were on the list that MTS provides were no longer in business. Burris got back with me. They provided this quote. This would be to come in, to talk with the employees, determine what their job duties are, look at other cities that, you know, have fire department employees, police employees, a reporter, and so forth, to make sure that our salary that we're paying our employees is in line with where it should be.
So the total is $4,610,
That's correct.
and it looks like it'll take a month, maybe?
About that, yes. If it did run over, the additional rate, as you'll see on page 2, is $225, but he thinks that the amount that he gave, the $4,610, that it will not exceed that.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure,
Okay. We didn't budget for this.
that's
So
correct.
where is this money coming out of?
It would have to come out of just the general fund.
And I can add that to the budget amendment that is currently before the second reading on May the 11th. If you want me to do that.
Well, I know we wanna do this before we do our budget for the next year. Would it be better if we waited for closer?
Yeah.
We should be doing budget stuff now. Well, the next question I have, when they do this, are they going to compare cities, employees comparable to who we are and like our size, or are they gonna compare us to national?
No.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So do we wanna wait and put this in next year's budget? Can we wait till July to get this done, or?
And there's no urgency. I mean, the quote might change a little bit if we do, but if we want to wait, that's fine as well. I just knew it was something that had come up before in regard to several positions here in the city.
Sure.
And so I went to work on it.
Well, I like the idea of doing it, so we can kind of see where we align with other folks
Right.
around us, but.
When all information get back to us, just the salary base, I mean, you get job descriptions and everything.
Yeah. And I'm already working on, you know, of course, I put together 2 position descriptions already, and that's how we advertise these 2 for 2 vacancies that are coming up. But they will actually do interviews with the employee themselves to make sure that when they're comparing to another location, that the similar duties for that position are the same as what they're comparing it with.
It might be in the personnel policy on the first or second pages, I know ours was, that you have to have a compensation plan for the city, and the city's never had one. So this would help to develop that for the policeman, the sergeant, the chief, and, you know, and there's a pay range that you know, so that would be one thing that this would help provide.
Well, when are we gonna get together and start talking about the budget?
Here, we've both been so busy.
Yeah, we got a student plan.
I guess my question, and maybe somebody else, I think already has asked it, will they get this done in time?
I don't think they,
I don't
it
think
looks
they
like
will
it's
either.
gonna be a month. I mean, it's from the time it says kickoff, and then 2 weeks, and a week, and a week, so, I mean, that's already a month, and you've got 3 other steps for TBD, so
That's why.
I think we wait
Yeah,
until
that we
next,
put it in there.
well, next year's budget.
You can't move forward with them to start unless you approve the fee though.
Yeah,
So-
so I just
Right,
think we
I
wait
mean-
until next,
And budget for it.
and
then.
budget for it.
It'll probably done.
But it'll be close. I mean, if we budget $5,000. Yeah. So I just think the most people wait on. Okay, yeah, we'll do. I'll just table the CTA consulting until next. Can I get a motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mingo's gonna have to have
Oh,
surgery.
yep.
He's gonna be out for another 4 or 5 months. And, doctors make the decision, but kids when we have surgery, so.
Is it next?
Actually, this is more than shoulder that they're doing surgery. They haven't made a decision on the neck yet, which will give them a shot.
So please let him know if you need to, we can help.
I will.
Oh, something else we need to think about is, are we gonna pave any roads this year?
That'll be our budget talk.
But we need to do that, get a budget figure on it before then, so we need to figure out, because I talked to him today, and when they paved Solar Avenue today, they got all the paving done, and he was talking about how much it went up. He said it's gonna go probably up some more, but he thought it was level back off after July. So I didn't know if y'all wanted to maybe think about the roads, get him to go ahead and estimate what they're cost. That way we'll have budget figures.
Yeah, we'll have to be on that.
Get a list of the roads. Get a list of the roads.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll start there.
just, I mean, you wanna do it, how much you wanna spend.
They're just looking for a list of, to bring back of the ones that need repair, not a price yet.
Yeah, we'll get a list of roads.
Just give
and
us
then-
what you think.
Then everybody can take the ride and we'll go to a green back.
Yeah, what I done before is I got a list of how bad the road was, how much traffic on it, and stuff, and that way that's how I price out which one went first.
About Highway 25.
We don't do it.
It'll be 20.
They're saying 27. Yep.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, I need a second. Meeting adjourned.